Okay, so today's video is going to be a first. I'm going to start reviewing some figures of mine, action figure stuff, because it's been, well, A, something I've always wanted to do on YouTube, and B, well, why not? I can't do Nerf guns for forever, and to be quite frank, I have more figures than I do have Nerf blasters. So we are going to start doing some figure stuff and try and balance it out some more. So for the first figure review, I wanted to do something that was special to me. Something that was fairly unique. And I was contemplating between doing Halo or Star Wars. Halo being the first-person shooter video game I've ever played, and Star Wars being, well, the first movie I've ever seen was Star Wars Episode 4 or Episode 1, depending on how you view the movies. But, yeah. So I chose Star Wars because it was also my first video game. Was Lego Star Wars The Complete Saga. Was my first video game ever. And well, I decided to go with Bandai's 1/12 scale plastic model kit of the Masta Clanka General Grievous himself. Man, he was one of my favorites. Like, he was like this 7-foot metal cyborg machine that was epic. He was an epic character in my opinion. I loved General Grievous. And if you've seen, not the new Star Wars The Clone Wars, but the old one, for all of you Star Wars fans who are watching this, you know which one I'm talking about. Not the old animated Star Wars Clone Wars. So yeah, let's just jump into this. So the box is this really nice sheen with a picture of General Grievous getting ready to attack Obi-Wan Kenobi, the master prankster himself. And on the bottom, you get all of your Japanese stuff that I cannot read. Some movie pictures in the corner. You have General Grievous in a pose. More General Grievouses in a pose. You get, like, featured stuff. On this, you get your warning! Small parts. Don't get it around your children because they will choke. For ages 15 and up, that is a fair thing. I think a bomb just blew up in my house. It's all good. For ages 15 and up, that is a fair assessment. Some assessments aren't fair. Like, there's some things out there that are like for ages 5 and they aren't. Like, you'll need an adult to do the majority of it. And then on the top, you get more Chinese stuff, more cautions, more warnings, more stuff. And it is a plastic model kit. So when you get this, you will have to assemble him. And he comes in a white, kind of like this. Kind of. But yeah, it's mostly like this white and black, and it's kind of bland. So when I show you mine, I actually added a wash to get some mud on him, some dirt and grime, because he is a droid, and he's one of the few generals that actually shows up on the battlefield and fights. So I gave him. I'll show you what I did in a sec. But yeah, just picture General Grievous, more General Grievous, you know. And then the back is just blackness. The darkness of space is the back. So, let's just get rid of this. And, sorry for toppling the camera there. Move on to the figure. So here he is. the masta clanka himself, all built, assembled. And here's what I did to mine that you won't see in the box. I added a wash to highlight some of the details on his hands, on his knees, just all the padding there, on his head. I just added a wash just to highlight the details, get some wear. Now what this figure does have is a stand. It does include a stand, which this will clamp around his... I'll show you in a sec, but the reason why I'm bringing the stand now and why he isn't attached to the stand is, unfortunately, and this sucks, the stand is actually too small. And yeah, it's too small. So it's kind of useless. What he also gets is a removable cape, which is this nice fabric. It's a little bit rough of a fabric. There's no special printing on the back. There should be his logo printed here. And then inside, I wish it had some saber hilts, because you do get 4 sabers, but I don't detach my sabers from their hands because there's no real reason to do it. He will have his sabers in the split arms, which are 2 separate arm pieces. So you get his regular arms, and then you get split arms, as well as lightsabers. But I just, because there's no real way to display the lightsaber hilts and his cape, I don't really take them apart. And how it attaches is the back here, it will rest on his neck right there. And you just kind of like slide it over, and then you want to line it up as best as you can so that when you look at it from the top, it's that nice and flush with the figure. And, well, I appreciate the hunk of plastic that they use to kind of to get it to rest naturally on his shoulders. The weight of the plastic is good to make it sit a little bit better and has that nice natural kind of look to it. But I kind of wish they put some more effort into the rest of the cape. Now let's get rid of the cape for now and look at the actual figure. So, like I said, I did a little bit of extra to him. But what you generally get is, you get this really nice head sculpt there. Lovely eyes. Nice texturing on the eyes. Be careful when clipping out the eyes especially. You can see that I made a mistake on this side, because it's not all white like this side. So just be careful to clip the eyes. I'll be right back. Alrighty, now that we have some better lighting, maybe you can see what I'm talking about a little bit better, or not. But yeah, I made a mistake there. So just be careful. He does have a lot of delicate parts, especially for these going around. I use the stickers because, honestly, to be quite frank, in my experience, the stickers work better than the decals. With these, if you have a pen to panel line, like a thin tipped pen to panel line, then I would go for that instead of both. But I went with that. And yeah, you can barely see it, but you do get a lung pouch with some organs in there. You can barely see it, but you do get the organs in there. And you have this nice, I added this nice silver dry brush to his legs. Really, overall, really nice detailing on the figure. When you get the base model, it will not come in, this black will not be painted silver. It will just be bland and boring. So I highly recommend dry brushing it in a silver when you are building this kit. Now, let's move on. I'm going to do the articulation first, and then I'll show you how to attach the separate arms. So for articulation on this figure, you get at the head, you get just a ball joint at the head. Like, that's it. Side, he can look this far to the left, this far to the right, up that far, down that far. He doesn't really have a wide range of motion on his neck. Sorry, but that's just how it goes. Yeah, there's just really no articulation in this guy's neck at all. Like, at all. He's just a stiff board that can look barely side to side. I think you can pop his head a little bit out. Yeah, just a little bit out. And then he can get a little bit more articulation like that. But really, there is no sense. You can twist his head like that to get a little bit more range, if you can see what I'm doing. Yep, just like that to get a little bit more range. But yeah, just not really a lot of range in his head unless you slide it up a little bit. But yeah, it's General Grievous. He doesn't really move his neck. On the shoulder, you get a nice solid ball joint. I don't really have any loose joints on this figure. There's no loose joints on him. Like, he's a solid model kit, but it is a model kit, so keeping that in mind, you shouldn't really be delicate with this guy. He is a display piece, not a toy. So yeah, ball joint, yeah, you can really just move the ball joint. His arms move up solid almost 90 degrees down that straight line. That's about it. You can't really there's no with this design, there's no swivel anywhere in the arm. It's really just a pit. It's like pretty much the shoulder gets the motion. If the shoulder can go that far, then just, if you want the arm bent, then you bend it. That's about it. There's nothing too special with that. The hand itself is on a ball joint. Be very delicate with the arm. The arms are the most fragile piece, so just be very delicate with them. Just ball joint. No articulation. Then the fingers. He does not come with any separate hands. So, I would have loved to display this guy with some lights, just two hands holding lightsabers. But he does not come with those. Those are not included. So just keep that in mind. Ball joint at the torso. He is really just a whole bunch of ball joints. Ball joint at the torso allows for a swivel at the torso. Just trying to keep all the parts in place. There. At the leg, you get a double ball joint in there. So you get like one into the hip, waist, groin area, and then another into the thigh. So really the second ball joint doesn't really do anything. It's mostly the primary. His legs can split out that about like, you get a split like, oh yeah, not that much of a split. I think maybe, yeah, no, just that. That's it. His legs can, he can lunge. Like, this boy's lunge is pretty freaking good, but no splits. No. But gentlemen, we all know that doing the splits is not good. So I respect this man for not being able to do that, because I'm not going to do splits any further than that myself. So yeah, overall, pretty good for the legs. Double joint at the knee. So yeah, that's great. Depending, you get two joints in the foot. You get a just a forward and backward joint there, and then a ball joint at the foot. Barely anything of a pivot, really. Forward and back. Back, there's a lot more back than forward, but back. So yeah, let me get him back into a crouched over grumpy man pose. There we go. Yeah, so that's about it for that. Alright, let's get the arms switched out, and here's how you do that. So, you can either pop off the arm like that, and then you just want to go in there and just lightly twist out the ball joint. Very lightly twist out the ball joint. It won't break if you don't, but just be careful. Lightly twist. Just pull and twist, really. And then you take your other arms and you slide that peg back in. And then, same with the other side. Just, see, there you go. There's the hole. Just slide it in. Lightly push, lightly twist. Just make sure that you get it all the way in. Alrighty. Alrighty. Slide the arms out of the way. Let's get them into a reasonable pose where you can see all of his arms. There we go. I like that. I like that quite a bit, actually. Like that. There you go. And there you have it. That's him with all four arms. Now, in terms of articulation for these arms, it's weirder, okay? You get a ball joint up here, but you also get a hinge for each individual arm. You get a ball joint and a hinge. So there's your hinge, which is a very tight hinge. So I would just stick to mostly being the ball joint. And then you got another ball joint in the back, and as well as a hinge for that. And that goes to the same for the other side. And now you get a ball joint here in the arm for each arm. Now, for that one, just 90. Really. Don't push it any far up or down. It will snap that thin joint. His arms are super thin, and of course, model kits being model kits, super fragile. So, I would just keep it like so. 90-degree bend. That's it. 90-degree bend. Just keep it like that. You won't have any problems. His hands, unlike the other ones on ball joints, are just... Whoa. His hands pop apart easily, so you can get out your lightsabers, of course, but I just keep my lightsabers in, like I mentioned. His hands are just on a joint. A really tight joint. Ugh. But a joint, nonetheless. So, forward and back. That just about does it for Grievous, my guy. Let's get him back into a sick pose there. There we go. That ball joint, man. That ball joint. Not a lot of range. Like there. So there you go. That's my Grievous figure. Or my review on the Grievous. Should you get this? If you can, absolutely. But only if you've built model kits before. I don't have an action figure version of him. I just have the model kit, and, well, Grievous being my favorite, I've decided to do him. But he is a model kit. So, keep that in mind. You will get him disassembled in sprues. You'll have to clip him, sand him, do whatever you want to them to put him together. But the results are fantastic. It is totally worth it. Picking up this guy, you should totally do it. But like I said, just keep in mind that he is a figure, and he is more of a display piece. And I'm actually going to display him like this, because that is kind of sick in my opinion. I like that a lot. I like that pose a lot. So, with that being said, I hope you enjoyed this video and my first action figures reviews of action figures. And I hope to see you in the next one. And with that being said, figures are figures because they are figures. They are not dolls. Do not get this guy confused with Barbie. He is not Barbie. Thank you. Bye.